Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed to allocate additional 1 billion Egyptian pounds to the National Alliance for Civil Development Work. This coincides with declaring 2022 as the year of civil society. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Amira, Sabek, strategic management expert. Good morning.
Good morning to you and all your audience.
Thank you so much. Dr. Sabek, in a world full of challenges, to what extent did the directives of the political leadership pave the way to put down a clear economic strategy?
Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, if we're going to talk about the declaration said by the president, and as we all know that Hayat Karima initiative has main 4 pillars, which is improving living standards, investing in human capital, developing infrastructure, raise the quality of human development services, and economic development. So now it comes, the role of Decent Life Initiative, we can say, is one of the most important and prominent presidential initiatives, which aims to consolidate all the efforts of the state, civil society, and the private sector with the aim of addressing multi-dimensional poverty and providing a decent life with sustainable development for the group most in need in the governorate of Egypt. So we can simply say that the initiative's role includes closing the developmental gaps among centers and villages and their dependencies, and to invest in human development and enhance the value of the Egyptian personality.
Yes.
Such an integrated initiative can never be well implemented and flourish unless it stems from a civilized responsibility and a human dimension before anything else. So, Hayat Karima goal, we can simply say that it is not just to be an initiative that aims at improving the living conditions and daily life of Egyptian citizens, but it also aims for immediate and urgent intervention to honor Egyptian citizens and keep their dignity and the rights for this decent life. We all can witness now that Egyptians are facing and currently enduring an enormous amount of challenges that accompany the economic reform that Egypt is witnessing nowadays. So those Egyptians are the best supporters of the Egyptian state in its battle towards construction and development. And these Egyptian citizens are the real heroes who endure all hard circumstances and stages with all impartiality, sincerity, and patriotism. Hayat Karima initiative seeks to provide an integrated package of services, including various health, social, and living aspects, and that's considered a huge responsibility. So it was necessary to move on a larger scale, on a wider one, and within a framework of integration and consolidation of efforts among the national state institutions, the private sector institutions, civil society, and the development partners in Egypt. So each Egyptian here, or everyone should play a role because it's a huge project, it's a huge challenge. We can simply say from all what I mentioned that this declaration was a call for different entities to share the honor and obligation to provide Egyptian citizens, especially those from the community groups most in need of assistance, with job opportunities so that these groups can have the better life they deserve, which guarantees them a decent life.
Yes. Doctor, to what extent did the establishment of the National Alliance for Civil Development Work succeeded in establishment of a database and information base, which in turn form a strategic focus on the most needy categories in the society?
Okay, this initiative had a very strong infrastructure starting it. It started by a diversity of youth who had different knowledge of information, different way of thinking. They are very well exposed to all the world's ideas and concepts. So it started by these youth collecting all the information and data, and they started to put plan. It was not something that happened without planning. It was very well planned started by the youth. It started by the youth volunteers actually If we can remember, it goes back to October 2019. And since then, there is lots of institutions for humanitarian intervention to develop and honor Egyptian citizens and to keep their dignity and rights. So these efforts of the youth, they started to make plans, they started to collect data about all different areas that need help. They started to gather data about the youth who had the potential but didn't have any job opportunities to do or to play a role in the society. So it started, we can see a tangible change, devoted efforts of charitable and developmental work based on science, based on information, based on planning. This initiative would have never succeeded, and it would have never shown all the success we are seeing now from new houses, from schools, from people are getting different. People in rural countries now started to speak and think in a different way. It's worth noting that for the first time at the public work level, more than 20 ministries and agencies and 23 civil society organizations are now meeting to implement important projects with the help of these Egyptian youth volunteering for charitable and developmental work. So this call was not just a call for more buildings and more institutions to take part, but it started to work on the motivation and energizing of the youth themselves. So yes, now we can say that all the youth, with all the data they are gathering, and it is well implemented, we are seeing lots of progress, lots of projects that can be the outcome of this initiative, and it is clear for everyone, and it would have never happened without the energy and the strategy played by the country or by the government in energizing and planning and directing these youth.
Yes, Dr. What are the most important outcomes of President Sisi's meeting with the National Alliance for Civil Action, and what do we expect in the near future?
Okay, we expect now, we are expecting that these rural countries will be active and well exposed to cultural and to pragmatic projects like Cairo. I mean, these youth who are living there will not be outcast anymore. We will see other areas in Egypt. Okay, let's say in the past, Cairo and Alexandria and the big cities were the only places that we can see projects in. We can see outcomes, we can see conferences, we can see youth working there. But now, after this call, I think I believe, and it's shown now, that most of the cities, even the rural ones, the small ones, the ones that didn't have a real active role in the society, in the Egyptian society, they started to feel, no, we now have the right, we have the opportunity, we have the potential, and we have lots of doors open for us to show our efforts. So these efforts, or the Egyptian efforts, will be multiplied when these kind of youth who were hidden for a while to come out of their cities and take part in this initiative.
Yes, I thank you very much, Dr. Amira Sabek, a strategic management expert. Thank you very much for joining us.
Blessed morning to you and all your audience.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, The Breakfast Show. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.